Yes, yes. Locked into the first show. Got a very special guest tonight, representing Inperspective Records, an A&R man at RNS. We've got the Chris Inperspective inside the building tonight. I think we're just going to start things off. I'm going to have a little 15-minute mix, playing some of my favourites on RNS, some of my favourites on Apollo, the sub-label, and also some of my favourites on Inperspective as well. Then after that, we're going to get straight into this interview. We're going to be talking about all things Inperspective Records, all things RNS and what he's bringing to the label. Very excited. This one by Forest Drive West on RNS. One by Earl Grey on Inperspective. This one a personal favourite on Exit Records. It's called Heather's Hot Waffles and it's by Chris Inperspective. It's actually got Calibre on the B-side. Could you imagine having Calibre on your B-side? Amazing stuff. Made a big mistake then. It's my first show tonight. Trying to work my way around here. Feedback on the microphones. Laptop not working. Just trying to make it work. I think I'm just going to roll it out for about 30 minutes now. Yes. See, that sounds a lot better now. I think me and Chris are going to just play a little selection and then we're going to get straight into things. New one from Ben Soundscape. On Dispatch Recordings.
There's a monster in your chest. These guys hijacked your ship, and they sold your crowd to this human, and he put an alien inside of you. It's really nasty. And in a few hours, it's gonna burst its way through your rib cage, and you're gonna die.
This one by Caliber. And it's on the 4am album on 31 Recordings. It's called Under Over You. Shout going out to everyone locked in at the moment. This one by Earl Grey on Inperspective Records, and it's called Lessons Learned. The production's absolutely top. Chris, we're quite blessed right now. We've got the function ones in the studio, and this one is sounding proper. One forthcoming Inperspective Records by Adrid and Corey James. Shout going out to Adrid, Adam Baker. Not long ago had a Metalheads album based in New York. He's also known as Eastern District with Robert Manos. They've done some things on 31. The weight of this tune, Chris, is ridiculous.
Most definitely. One, two.
Yeah, we're just trying to get you. Oh. Yes. Just trying to get used to things here at the moment. Testing.
Hello.
So Chris, yes, thanks for coming down.
How you doing? You alright?
Living the dream as always.
Cool.
So obviously there's like many things to talk about tonight. I don't know how far we want to go back really. I wanted to go as far back as med school, but I think we might just leave that alone actually. I know you want to keep that in the past.
Yeah, I just think I think if you Google me on that.
Oh no, obviously I think anyone who knows Chris is aware of obviously the things that happen at hospital. Obviously you ran that with Dexter. Dexter's gone on to
shout out Dexter.
Shout going out to Dexter every time.
Maybe just to give some context. Look, for anyone that doesn't know, I previously worked at Hospital Records, and I essentially had a small issue with a particular project that came out at a particular time, and that's probably the most convenient and most efficient way of describing
it. And it hasn't left any of our minds since, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's been an emotional.
But moving on, obviously, Dexter's done. This world is lovely, and if you buy vinyl and you're in London or you live in London, you should definitely go down to Deptford, and you'll see This World there. Also, was it 1-800 dub plate? Yeah, great cutting service, great dance music, vinyl shop. Should definitely check that out. So you've now obviously moved on to being the new A&R guy at RNS. RNS to me, And I think many others is like the cultural record label, to be honest, in the dance world. That's what most people would say. They've had over 2,000 releases, I believe.
Yeah, it's been a fair few across the with RNS and Apollo, obviously.
And Apollo, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And 30% of those releases are people that aren't white. How it's the best way to put it.
It's a pretty diverse label, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that is quite a large percentage. I wish it was more,
Yeah.
obviously, but
Yeah.
I still, in this day and age, I find that quite a large percentage.
I mean, the label itself has always, been fairly diverse. I mean, well, I say fairly diverse, very diverse.
And obviously, hopefully, even more diverse now you're there doing things.
I mean, look, end of the day, it's about the music first. The primary goal for, I would imagine, most label owners would be to find the best music that they can find for their label. Admittedly, now there's a lot of focus on
a legal battle as well.
Sorry, second.
Obviously, they're going through quite a bit at the moment.
So
aren't they?
yeah,
I mean, let everyone know sort of.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I could ask the question. So it's the situation that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a horrible situation.
Yeah.
It's split people up, and I want to understand both sides.
Sure.
And how people could possibly feel the way they do about this situation, So, as far as I'm aware, it all started with Renat agreeing to have a meeting about someone feeling like they weren't treated the way they wanted to be treated, and they wanted to take their music from the label.
Yeah. So there was an email back and forth between the RNS label boss, Renat, and an artist on the label. During that email exchange, there was somewhat of an unfortunate use of a particular term, and, offence was found, and it was kind of screenshotted, and it sort of escalated from there.
And obviously everyone is now trying to determine what they feel, what it meant, really, what that term means. So we used the term pure breed black.
Yes.
That was the term, obviously. and just from hearing that term, you think to yourself, that's not the best. I think I'm not sure. Some people believe that he used that term in a way that it did not have anything to do with race whatsoever. It was more like a cultural thing, like.
It's more like high caliber. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of
exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the same way, you might say someone's a beast on the.
Yeah.
Decks or whatever. It's that kind of thing.
So
but I think it was just taken out of. I mean, I'm not the artist in question, so I can't, put myself into his mindset. When I read it back, I did sort of go, yeah, it could be problematic, but I didn't expect it to
be a problem.
Turn out
obviously, when it comes to race, it's all about
as bad as it has done.
I mean, it's all about context, isn't it? Really. So I suppose when people initially hear this, they think, they can think it's racial, obviously. And
look. I think for if anyone is sort of confused what we're talking about, just Google RNS and employment storm or something.
They've been trending on Instagram recently, haven't they? I think.
Sorry, say again.
They've been trending on Instagram recently.
Who RNS have?
Yeah, and obviously many people are aware of the situation that's going on right now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how Renat feels in this situation, regardless of whether he's at fault or what it meant, what he said meant. Like it must have been. I can't imagine what it would feel like.
The issue is that you've got that particular situation that he brought up, and then there has been another accusation by a former A&R guy.
So that's it. So that's what. Was it Raj?
That's his name. Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't direct. Raj was an A&R representative of the label. He wasn't directly employed by the label, though, was he?
He was freelancer, as far as I understand.
Okay.
This is all public knowledge, yeah.
Okay, so as far as I'm aware, he's demanded a sum of money to keep quiet.
There's accusations on both sides, but essentially that's the general sense of what has been said by Renat. Yeah.
So the main thing about
there's
this
a statement. Look, I mean, there's a statement on the RNS website that explains their standpoint on
there was
this.
a lot of articles. I read quite a few of them, and obviously to try and find those articles now, they've been taken down. You can't find them anymore. But as I say, if you wanted to learn any information about this whatsoever, you should go on the RNS website. I think on their Facebook as well.
Yeah, there's a statement from RNS which is explaining their standpoint on this whole situation. I think, you know, in anything like this, you want to make sure that you have, you know, essentially evidence of what's been, of what you've accused people of.
Well, talking about evidence, it's like, so the idea is, obviously, it's very divided opinions on this situation.
Sure.
And I'm sure, you know, Renat, a lot of people don't want to speak up about it. I feel like people are too scared to support and speak up about things. And that's what I reckon. It's a very complex situation.
It is a complex.
It's very confusing. No one really understands what's going on. But I understand that RNS can have a lot of support, but no one's really speaking up about the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it is an unfortunate situation in regards to that you've not many people have wanted to hear any other sides of the story. I think what's been unfortunate is that people haven't been asking questions. There's been a lot of support for Renat and the rest of the team at RNS, and there's a lot of people that feel that the accusations that have been put out there are completely unfounded and untrue.
I mean,
now, if I can feel, so I totally accept how, you know, considering what I had gone through myself in calling out, you know, a label, and that some might say that there's a sense of hypocrisy in what I'm doing by standing by Renat.
Initially, people thought that, you know.
There were one or two individuals, but I think that anyone that actually knows me and knows my standard and knows my character knows that I wouldn't stand with a racist. It's just that simple.
Well, and obviously RNS is... I've always found this situation quite confusing because I've always seen RNS as kind of like the cultural record label.
Yeah, it continues to be.
So
my introduction to RNS was Jacob's Optical
I'm
Stairway.
just trying to I want to understand why people might feel that that's not the case, or that Renat was racist, or, you know.
Because the notion is that a person of colour has called them out, and that's absolutely fine.
But many people would find the term someone of colour offensive, you know. It's like, where does it end?
I don't know how
I know you
anyone
use it, Chris, and like
I don't know why anyone would find it offensive.
as someone, I know, but as someone, it's like calling someone coloured.
No, it's not like calling someone coloured. No, it's not.
How is
no,
it?
it's a person of colour.
Person of colour. Okay.
Yeah.
It's obviously a lot politer and more thoughtful. But
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So therefore
okay.
less offensive, yeah.
I know, it's just obviously I'm always just want to have an open conversation.
No, it's
about
fine. No, it's
things.
fine. It's okay.
I've always tried to get my head. Me and Chris do have many deep discussions. He's really sort of opened my mind to the whole racial narratives and stuff like that. And as a white person, I don't know. It's a funny position to be in sometimes. I don't know.
What is?
Being open-minded and white, but like,
oh right, okay.
You know, it's just.
I want everyone to be open-minded. I want every race to be as open-minded as possible, in as many opportunities as possible. I think that's the only way you can kind of.
Do you feel like there's many closed-minded people in this obviously situation?
I just think people don't always ask. I mean, we've seen with the pandemic, people just don't ask questions.
I know they don't, but it's just like in this situation, what is the right question to ask? I'm here to ask the right questions now, and the situation is obviously so confusing, and so somehow it's so unique.
I think you'd need to ask why so many black artists are still standing by and supporting our Renat.
That's lovely.
That's the question. That's what, you know. So I mean, and then there's probably. So if you're going to answer that, there's going to be, well, it's about money, or you're just a bunch of Uncle Toms, or something along those lines. It's one of those two.
So you're insinuating that people will struggle to speak up because they feel like it would cost them their pocket?
I mean, it's not really. If you play the game, you know, there's only one or two ways. There's only one or two ways it's going to play out.
And do you feel like have you noticed any like?
So what I would ask anyone in that situation is, do you think Loxy and Ink are in it for the money, or are they a pair of Uncle Toms? Like, is that what Is that what are we talking about here? Because that's
No,
essentially what's been thrown
that's
about.
amazing.
If you're asking the hard
I
question,
think everyone knows that Loxy
and
the fact
Giles.
these and Giles
yeah,
are far from
exactly.
They've never
Think about
done
it.
They've never done it for the money. They're the most underground
Think
guys
about it.
going. I know. I mean, it's lovely to. So you, that's one of you. So
Even me sitting here talking to you on behalf of RNS is going to seem contrite and it's going to seem set up and it's going to seem whatever. And I understand how it will look, but ultimately, you invited me onto the show. You're a fan of RNS. There's a problem with RNS at the moment and the issue with diversity. So we're gonna talk about it.
I'm a fan of RNS in a way that I really want to get my head around this matter. Like honestly, I really tried to spend. I spend a lot of time trying to think how do people feel the way they do about this situation? How can people feel like we're not racist or
because he's 63.
It's almost not.
He's opinionated and he's Belgian and he's super white. So like,
I know, but is the statement politically incorrect? Do you know what I mean? Though, is it though, or is it just been completely mistaken?
You see, is his? I mean, again, I don't want to. I don't want to be his spokesperson here, but English is not his first language for a start. But his English is good enough to know when he's being offensive when he isn't, and he understands when he's being offensive when he isn't, because he's quite happy being offensive to people when he needs to be. But at the same time, if you talk to, I don't know, you talk to 100 black people and their experiences of going around Europe, yeah, you're going to have interesting stories about people that have missaid things or,
cultural differences.
Have just been inappropriate without necessarily meaning to. And again, not to be a spokesperson, but that's what I believe he's done because, because of all the people that have been offering their support. It's just ridiculous. And also, when you look at all the people that have been calling him out, most of them have been white.
Have they? That's what I wanted to know.
That's kind of what that's what I've seen, and that's what we've noticed as a team at RNS. It's mostly been people, mostly male, mostly white, and mostly under 30. And that's fine, but I just think that's an interesting statistic. I haven't seen any black artists of note coming out and criticising him. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean the audience. I invite the audience to let me know.
Yeah.
But I haven't. We haven't seen any. So I just think people need to ask the questions. Why would Subject 13? If you don't know who Subject 13 is, Dave Stewart, look him up. Why would Camilla Biput? Why would she stand and be happy to be on the label? Why would I work? The guy that started the Black Junglist Alliance. Why would I stand next to an art?
I mean, it's obviously the situation is split up into two, where he has said something that can be questionable.
It was really unfortunate.
And also, it's all to do with someone saying that they didn't. The A&R guy, Raj, he's obviously complained that he feels that his artists have been shut down because they are people of colour.
So there was a project. So what you're talking about is that In Order to Care, there was a report there where
In Order to Care, which was started not long ago, last year.
Yeah. So what would you know that to be?
That was RNS releasing some music to raise money for the NHS.
Right.
Of England.
So exactly.
Kingdom, yeah.
So the NHS is a British institution, right?
Yeah.
And where Belgium and where RNS from?
Ghent in Belgium, I believe.
They're a Belgian techno label, right?
Beautiful.
So you could argue that what the fuck is a Belgian techno label doing, raising money for the NHS? It's a great thing for them to do, and they do operate a lot.
Beautiful thing.
They do operate a lot inside the UK.
Well, the artists do, yeah. 100%. There's a lot of artists from the UK.
100%.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. A lot of the artists are from the UK. So yeah, it's a nice thing to do. From my understanding, Renat didn't have much to do with that project. When it came out, he wasn't happy for it to stay on the catalogue as such, because it had already raised its money, it had achieved its goals, and he wasn't particularly keen on the music that was on it, because he didn't really A&R it. So he just asked for it to be removed.
I suppose all that can happen from this situation is he learns somehow, in some way, kind of like, I suppose he spends his time trying to understand the situation himself, like how people would find what he said offensive, or how can people think the label is racist or is not diverse.
It's if Goldie wanted to take back an album, I mean, an album of Meltheads, that was his own, or that he had something
or
to
if
do with.
Netsky went to Hospital Records and was like, "Hey guys,
I mean,
want to leave."
Hospital
The fact
removed. Hold on, Hospital removed all the Mitsubishi stuff, right?
Well, yeah, and I totally agree with.
No, I was there when it happened.
Did
yeah,
you?
totally
I
removed it,
agree with the situation as well
Yeah,
on that one.
but
without
that's
a
what I'm
doubt.
saying. So what I'm saying is that if you're a label owner for any number of reasons, you can remove projects from your label
You can,
if you want.
but I think if people said to the record label they released with, that they want to have a meeting because they feel like they weren't treated fairly and they wanted to take their music with them.
Well,
I mean,
I'm
the
not-
fact that
I can't speak for that artist.
No, and obviously I can't speak for labels what they were doing in that situation, but I think the majority of them wouldn't agree to.
No. No.
Or they just had a meeting about agreeing.
I think it depends on how well that artist is selling.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
If an artist isn't selling very well and they
Then
come
it
and say,
might be
I want
lean.
all my stuff back,
Why
it's like,
not?
fine, and you can have it
That's
back. You know what I mean? I'm going out of what I would. What would happen with me, for example.
Let's get into since you've been at RS, like what you've brought to the label. So I know you mentioned Loxy and Ink.
Yeah, I mean they've been talking to Renat for a number of years. A guy called Meriton as well had been instrumental in getting Loxy and Giles onto the label as well. So shout out to Meriton. I mean, I'm obviously Blocks and Escher are involved. And we got Subject 13, which I'm really pleased about. Another artist called Camilla Beepoots.
Amazing.
A guy called Dan Samza, which is something else we signed, and also Lee Gomez and Stan Smith. They've got a hip hop album project that's going to be coming out on Apollo as well.
So the Loxy Ink is drum and bass, jungle.
Nah, not necessarily.
So this is what interests me. So it's different. It's something different.
It's
from
not.
them
It's
guys.
not drum and bass. No.
Is it not? Oh,
Not the first single. No.
That's amazing.
It is absolutely amazing.
Is it?
They're going to blow everyone's fucking heads off.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Huge
It's going to
fan.
be. Unfortunately, we don't have. Well, I do have it, but we can't play it yet. So that will be premiered on a platform or on RNS socials.
And that is the
Not too
RNS
distant
main label,
future.
not Apollo.
Yeah, on the
Nice.
RNS label. Yes. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It is. It's amazing.
I know. So so I think we've covered everything at RNS.
I hope so.
I hope so. It's obviously nice to talk about those things. I wanted to be as open-minded about it as I could.
Sure.
I am a fan of RNS, so I didn't want to be biased. I wanted to really try and understand why people might be upset. I don't even think we really touched that at all. I know, you know what I mean? Like, we can't speak for people, can we?
I can't look. I can only look. Someone asked me, one of the guys who I work with at the Black Junkets Alliance, actually, Okoya, shout out to Okoya, and she actually asked me about this, her and her partner Sean, because they were, and I'll be honest, they called me up about this, and they said, look, what the hell's going on? And I said, look, I get it, because if I didn't work with Renat, if I didn't speak to him every day, pretty much, I'd be out there going, fuck RNS, probably too, right? Like, there's, it's difficult to see, like, how, sometimes I think, how is he going to get out of this? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest with you. But the truth will out, because there's a tribunal, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of opportunities for both sides of the story to be heard fairly and equally, rather than through the press.
And until then,
we're just going to be getting on with releasing all this amazing music that we have.
That's brilliant.
That's what I've been saying that we should continue to do, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
So the A&R RNS isn't your only job. I've heard you've got quite a few.
It's like 10% of my
weekly
workload.
So you've got 9 other jobs there. That's 10%. So obviously Inperspective Records.
Very much so, yeah. Inperspective, my heart, yeah.
It's been running since '97.
It is.
I was saying to you, I was 5 years old back then,
Thank you for making me feel old. Cheers.
You're welcome. So that started with an Equinox release, but under a different name.
It did, yeah. It was a lot of fun to do that. Mastered it at JTS Studios. Freddie, shout out to Freddie. I hope you're still around, my friend. He cut it, and it was a very interesting time. Derek Lewis, which was Marlon's cousin, did the artwork for it. On the very, very first one. And it was an amazing experience. Didn't sell any.
And everyone's been scared to send you Amens ever since, because Equinox is the don when it comes to Amens, I've been told.
People have been scared to send me Amens because you know, when you put out Acid Rain, like I mean, and this will sound arrogant, and you know, people have known me to sound arrogant, but I don't, you know, I don't really see, you know, there's not many Amen tunes that can match that.
No.
They're on, and people out there that know it, that know the tune, know I'm talking sense.
Yeah.
And it won't be, you know, it's never going to be lauded in the same way that, you know, sort of like famous tunes will be, because it's on a very underground label. But those heads that are in the know the myth of Acid Rain, and you know, it's a great myth it's a great piece of drum and bass Amen folklore. Yeah,
that's it. So. Forthcoming on Inperspective, you've got the Adred album.
But before that we've got Again Sudade. I've got to mention.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
We have.
When's the release on that?
So that's out this week.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's out this week.
Is that digital? Or
it's digital on cassette. Yeah.
Cassette.
We're doing a beautiful lilac cassette. Like, yeah, because Tony was Necrotype. His artist name before was Necrotype. He worked with Modern Urban Jazz and a number of other labels. And he makes amazing music. And we just decided when we started talking about doing a release that the music that he was doing now had just a different quality. It was, you know, had a more ancient, more emotional quality to it. And we decided to that maybe we should do a name change. And that's what we've done. So he's started this project. And it's, you know, it was a lot of fun. I said, like, we probably won't be doing vinyl. But he asked if maybe we could do cassette because he loves them. So
why not?
I have no problem with that because it's cheap.
Yeah, is it? Yeah. Vinyl isn't so.
Vinyl is very expensive, but I'm dedicated to vinyl. But we're going to have a number of releases like that where we're going to be doing just fun, physical elements, accompaniments to go along with a digital release.
Do you know what? I've actually got. I'm going to be right back. I've got a couple of your vinyls actually.
Oh right, yeah.
I just want to see. I want people to see, like, how above and beyond, like the actual presentation is to this. So check this out. One sec.
Cool.
So yeah, this has been recorded video at the moment, and it will be uploaded onto YouTube. So just for the people that can see it on video right now, I mean...
Yeah, that's Angus. That's my boy Angus. It's Angus Day.
It's unreal, Chris.
Yeah,
Look at the... Like, take it out. Like, it's just...
So
I heard you wanted to do an anime of this, and actually...
So the anime... No, that wasn't with this. Well remembered. You remember our conversation.
How much is a half an hour anime? And he was like... About $750,000.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so right. I need to explain that. So, the album that came out before this is an incredible album called Lynch Kingsley. So, right, okay, I've got the audience to myself. So it was a track, an album called Death Cycles that came out on Inperspective. It came out in June, and the design and 3D and everything else was done by my good friend Mel Garber. It was absolutely fantastic. And the original concepts that was developed with a friend of mine, Simon Van Stutplian, who did we discussed it with Mel, was that we were going to do a short animated film. So there was a character that had been made, as it were, or drawn or created by Mel. And we were going to do this half-hour anime. So I managed to get speaking to a friend of mine, Marcel. Shout out Marcel. And he was like, Chris, do you... Because is it Red... I think they're called Red Box Animation. I think they're called in Dublin. I'm pretty sure, or Red... I think it's Brown Bag or something like that. It's like Red Box or Brown Bag. I can't remember the name of the company. I'm really sorry, Marcel. He sort of said, do you want to know? Do you know how much, like Pocoyo, kids TV, animation, nothing too crazy. Do you know how much that costs? Like one episode, and that's like 20 minutes. You know how much it costs? And he's like, yeah, it's like, it's like 1.2 million an episode. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's no joke.
I remember coming around yours.
Yeah.
And you had your son, and he was using some sort of like app where he's creating like almost like a slightly animated sort of video. And he was actually really good at it.
He's great.
Like, you're like, that would save me a few bob, wouldn't it?
He's really good at it now, actually. It's called Flipper Clip, or Clipper Flip, or Flipper Clip, I think it's called. And it's a package on his tablet, and he does some. I've got a couple up on my Instagram, and he's done some really good animations. So maybe he actually, I would have to get Mel and Jacob, my son, to work together on the Death Cycles animation. But just to finish the story,
go on.
we have got another idea that we might be able to do. So instead of doing an animation, there is a side-scrolling shooter. I believe Mel is working on. So we might do that. It might be fun. But anyway, we're massively digressing. That was for Lynch Kingsley. Shout out to Lynch, out there in Rome, representing and holding it down always.
Yeah, that Lynch Kingsley album
it's phenomenal.
It's diverse. It's so deep.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
you must have had some funny comments on that album actually. Profane is pretty. Is it when's sorry?
He jumped around.
Your label is it? If anyone who knows Inperspective Records, there's actually nothing like it, even close to it. I mean, that Future T one, with Sophie Mari. Shout out to Sophie Mari.
Yeah. So that came out after Lynch Kingsley's album. Then you had Persuasive Funk by Future T, a Dutch artist who basically wanted to create a fusion of funk and drum and bass.
It's like a live sound.
Yeah, very much live sound. So, got to big up Jungle Drummer, Tom Mason, Daniel Good as well. These guys damn it, have I forgotten someone? No. These guys, Ruth Corey as well, because she features on the album as well. I hope I haven't forgot anyone. But it's an incredible album. It's an incredible piece of work. There's so much great music on it, and there's not many of the vinyl copies left. I don't think there are any left, actually. They've all gone.
I know I got that straight away.
Yeah.
I was going to bring sort of the majority of the discography.
I think I got one box at home, but I don't think I've put them on stock. I think we're out of stock now on the.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So
I hope the Dread album does well. I hope they all do, really.
So so we've got Tempo Ribera. So we did say it again today, and then we've got Tempo Ribera, which is coming out in June, and that's A-Dread, an American artist, as you said, Adam Baker, and then straight after that we have Dissident with an album called Half Space.
Wicked.
And then straight after that we have an Canadian artist called Profane, and he's got an album called Camo Controllers.
Even though it's not.
Camo Controllers. I shouldn't be biased, but that is now officially my favourite album name on the label.
Is it?
It's just so weird. It's like, why would you? He's such a weirdo.
It's got like a different drum pattern to it, hasn't it?
Dan doesn't create drum and bass.
What did you call it? You called it
Breakbeat Tapestries.
Tapestry.
Yeah. I just think they're just.
It's got the horns in it. I've heard a lot of stuff on it.
They're just pieces of. Because it's very Marmite. You either like it or you don't, and I think one of the things I've always loved about Dan is that he takes it so seriously. As mad as his music is, as it sounds, and as challenging as it can be, he takes it super seriously. He's not like frivolous about what he does at all in any way, shape or form.
I think everyone needs to listen to a bit of Profane to understand how different he is. Yeah. Don't expect to like mix it up a little bit. I mean, you probably could. I think my task is going to be trying to mix a Profane tune off this album because I've heard a few there.
On Villain. So he had an album about 6 years ago.
Yeah, I've got
Villain
that,
Mills. We you know what? I still regret not doing a vinyl of that album.
Yeah,
we never did a vinyl of it.
No.
And it's very long. It'd probably have to be 3 vinyl if we did it. But maybe one day we should do. Maybe when it's 10 years, we'll do a vinyl.
Do it.
But the point being though is that most of that album is quite linear. It's very mixable.
Yeah. Cool.
And then he did a track called Dramada, which was sort of like this kind of free-form thing that he started developing. And he's just sort of, this album now, Camo Controllers, is kind of half and half. Like, do you know what I mean? So that like it's some tracks that are
It's got to have you got to have some.
Yeah, that
it's
are
like
a bit
that
more
on
linear.
most of the albums, really. I think.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
well, there's certainly
It's like a real live feel to all of the discography, really. You know.
in more recent years.
Yeah,
there
more
has
recent
been,
years. Yeah,
definitely.
which has set a kind of trend, I think.
Yeah.
I think for drum and bass. You've also got Eloisa as well. I wanted to push on to that.
Sure.
So you started Eloisa.
Well, no.
Did you not? No?
Matt Moss and I started the label while I was at hospital.
Okay.
So look. I mean, what had happened was, the truth be known, I was there, working for them, and there was so much music being sent in on demos and stuff, and I was just like, so much great music that just doesn't get to put out, and I really like this, and I don't know whether they'll want to give it to me, but it wasn't that, and actually it wasn't even really artists that were trying to send music into hospital. It was just people that were sending music to Inperspective that wasn't necessarily suitable for Inperspective. And I just kept turning it down because I was like, well, maybe you should send it to this label or that label. And I was like, well, actually, maybe I want to put out some Jump Up or some Liquid. Do you know what I mean? It might be fun. So
it's quite diverse. And
yeah,
I feel
very
like
much
it's going to continue to be diverse.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's in artist and in
was the recent release was the Simon Splice, was it?
So the last one was Simon Splice, but
before that you had Ant Miles. That was my favourite.
Will Miles.
Sorry. Always do this. Will Miles. Shout out to Will Miles. He's
I'll take Ant Miles as well.
yeah. Can you imagine it?
But not over Will Miles.
The Will Miles release is cool.
It's amazing.
Different.
Blackout EP. Yeah, it's amazing.
So good.
But we've got diverse. We've got Fadix, Sublimit as well on there. Sammy Hall.
Oh yeah, Sublimit's amazing. Sammy Hall. She's a Brighton girl, isn't she? Or she lives. Is it South Coast?
I think she's South Coast. Yeah, I think she's Southampton.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where I sent her contract.
So the Sublimit, is that Sublimit one, the most recent release?
Sublimit was out in September, October last year. And then we had Pixis as well.
Oh yeah, wait, so
that amazing EP.
So that EP, shout out to Pixis. She's probably my favourite female producer, I think, in the game.
Yeah.
The XX, so that had more females on an EP than any other drum and bass
EP.
Is that
it was
right?
the first, So I'm top, please, again, if there is another release out there that has 5 women featuring on 4 tracks, so got Pixies, Sophie Mari, Damn It, Colette Warren.
Oh no, I'm waiting for this.
Ella Sop.
Damn it! I should know. It's she's got a lovely voice as well.
I've forgotten the 4th one.
You got to get them out now.
I
was waiting. It's I'm trying to think of her name.
No,
now.
I'm gonna say it because that's really rude.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it is rude.
I'm gonna make sure. Oh damn it! Why can't I get internet down here? Oh, hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get it. Sorry guys, apologies. This is a bit shoddy.
It's not
so it was Sophie Mari, Pixies herself, Marissa Jade,
Colette Warren,
Ella Sop,
and it's the last one. It's like a shit. I know. Yeah, I know her as well. She's so lovely, and her voice is my favourite on from the album.
It's so embarrassing.
I know it is. It's so bad.
and now the internet is not working down here in this dungeon.
Oh, I got it. Wait.
Have you got it?
Oh no, I haven't. Wait.
Oh, Jesus, come on.
She's got a different kind of name. That's why. Here we go. Eloisa. Right. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I got it here. Oh wait, it's just gone off.
This is really not interesting.
We'll find this right now. I just had it as well. Here we go. It's here we go. It's Sydney Chapman.
Sydney Chapman. Sorry, Sydney.
Right,
I'm so
Sydney,
sorry.
He owes you big time. Bless.
Yeah, massive drink
Sydney,
when I see you, Sydney. So there was 5 women.
Jeez. I know it was Sydney. It was an awkward name for me.
It's not. I don't
know many Sydneys.
It just pinged out my head. It just pinged out my head, and it's just because there's so much that's going on across the group. I mean, I do run. In fairness to me, I do run 4 labels, and there's a lot of releases coming out.
I know.
However, that is no excuse.
I know. Do you
Sydney,
reckon
I apologise.
remembers everyone on the 2000 releases?
To be fair, his memory is incredible.
Is it?
Yeah. So he does pull out. He'll just say, "Oh, Chris, have you heard this one?" And he'll send me a link to one of the thousands of tunes that he gets.
Sounded nothing like Belgium.
No, but he doesn't. He doesn't sound like no, because that's what his voice sounds like to me. It's like that. But that sounds a bit German. Wait, that's probably a bit. Was that racist? Probably a little bit.
No, was it?
Sorry to all my Central European friends. I didn't mean to be with my offensive accent. But yeah, no. The XX was an amazing EP. Getting back onto Eloisa, sorry.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had Bungle and.
So I got the Bungle vinyl. That's a good 3 tracks.
Yeah, Cray as well. We had Cray.
Cray, yeah,
representing Hong Kong.
Yeah, from Hong Kong, yeah.
Yeah, he is originally from Hong Kong. Lives in southwest London now. And that's what I mean. That's what we wanted for Eloisa as well. That it was.
I feel like we're working at a hospital. You've learnt the hospital is supposed to be quite diverse in terms of the sound. You got Metric, but then you got Everwood and whatnot. You know, so and I feel like. So you must have learned a lot from working at a hospital. You know,
there's no denying. I've said it thousands of times. Credit where credit is due. You know, like I said earlier at the beginning of this interview, my grievance was with one project. As from a standpoint, and I said this in my video as well, as from a standpoint of professionalism and how to run a professional, independent label, there are no one better. You know, Dexter and I were just there every day, like like that basically, just doing that every day. I was like, right. You know what I mean? Pretty much every day, and I'm not, you know. I'm not going to front on that.
I find it quite funny to picture you and Dexter working there. Actually, I feel like
we found it funny while we were there.
yeah.
It was just we didn't fit. We didn't fit.
No.
We didn't fit. But it is what it is.
I said I spoke to Dexter about this the other day, and I said, "Did you not fit in?" He said, "No, I fit out."
Yeah, he fitted out.
Chris, we fitted out. So look, we've got about 30 minutes left of the show. I think it's worth playing some music in it now.
We certainly should.
But
yeah, Dexter, I love you.
Yeah, shout out to Dexter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so happy for that
guy. You see,
guy.
honestly, there was some days there when, like, if it wasn't for him, I would have went insane. There was just, because it was quite funny, like, being in that scenario. As much as, like, there wasn't any bad people there. There's no bad people that work there. But it was just weird. We did feel a bit out of place, and but it was like, but I learnt a lot, and I can't front. And like I said, there was a lot of good people there.
Thanks to everyone who's locked in at the moment, listening to Chris Dexter. Thanks, Chris, for coming down. I think we're going to play some music now. And do you know what?
Perspective, but yeah.
Yeah. So what I say?
You said Chris Dexter.
Did I? Shout out to Chris Dexter. No, Chris in Perspective. I'm sorry, Chris Walton. I'm going to say Chris Walton now.
That's okay.
You should go check out the Bandcamps. You've got Eloisa on Bandcamp, Inperspective Records on Bandcamp, RNS is on Bandcamp as well.
It is. So am I going to play something?
It's up to you, Chris. You want to start off?
Well, you know what? Because we've got a technicality compilation coming up later on this year.
Yeah,
so I'm going to start off by playing something from that. I'm not going to say. I'm probably not going to
Please
say
do,
what any they are.
No, go for it.
This is good fun. Let's see what this is.
Go for it. Yeah.
Shout out to Polska, tuned in. Going out to the DYL. So doing pirate radio station. Old tight on the phone lines.
Shout out to the Terry Cresswell. Thanks for getting locked in.
And actually, hold tight all the team. Andy, Anna, Manvia, Jordan, Ben, Stan, Ukraine. Love you all. And to all my Black Junglist Alliance family, Darren, Neil, Okoya, Courtney, Charlotte. Hey.
You're listening to Sounds of the Chris Inperspective. Trickstar FM. Thanks to everyone locked in at the moment.
Обстоятельства весьма тревожные, если не сказать пугающие.
make my mind go.
By Breakage, Tape Bubbler Spesh on his own label Index.
So when we come, I just killing sound we are dealing with. Run the rhythm and get the road wild. I just killing sound we are dealing with.
like a puppet, like a puppet.